Hello, everybody. My name is Marker Pliers. No, I'm kidding. It's Tsubasa. Not to get it confused with Mufasa or Tabasco. I don't know why people call me that. When I game, they see Tabasco for some reason. Probably because I have O's on the outside of my name. Uh, and they're reading it awfully quickly. Anyway, today, I thought we'd get into some of my dream logs that I've been writing down on my phone. These dream logs, by the way, aren't dated, but some of them are from years ago, and I can still remember like the whole layout and everything of the rooms and places I was in because my dreams are hella vivid, Lamau. This first one, I'm not gonna elaborate anything longer than the one thing I wrote. Reason being is guidelines. So this is the one sentence I wrote. Pounding Belle Delphine in Amana Cerny with my friend. I'm not gonna say which friend it was because that's kind of weird. Anyway, moving on to the next one. Robert DeLong and the California Cult at an amusement park, house, and golf house. So, for those of you who don't know, Robert DeLong is a musician, and when I was going through middle school, he was like my favorite artist of all time. He does a lot of electric, like EDM stuff, and I highly encourage to look him up if you're into that. He's been doing music for so long, and I can't recommend him enough. But anyhow, he was just a part of this like weird occult. I remember when I was in my dream, we were driving in a car, in a convertible that was red, that didn't have, the sunroof was down. We were driving. I don't know why the location was California. It was nothing like it. The only thing that was reminiscent was there was a beach. But anyway, we were driving through this tunnel. We went through the tunnel, came out. There was a beach and everything. Yada yada yada. But we stop and get out on the side of this hill as soon as we get out of the tunnel, and there's like these wooden fences that line the mountain. And when you go on the other side of the fence, it's actually it's more of a maze of fences. I don't know why it was there, but then eventually, I got lost and it just cuts to night, and I'm sitting. Well, I'm not sitting. I'm standing on the one side of the street. There's no houses anywhere else but right in front of me across this street. This street only goes in one direction, and all I hear are crickets. And this house is pretty small. It's a two-story house. It doesn't have a basement. It has a front porch that's like, 2 or 3 steps up. So 2, 3 steps up, porch, and then you have the door. There's a window, and then there's 2 windows on the second floor. It was a yellow house. The pale moonlight kind of shone on it. The lights were on in the house, and I didn't go in it. I just kind of stared at it as the crickets chirped in the background, and I was just like, I don't think I want to go in there. Eventually, my body just kind of ends up in there, and inside the house is like, when you're at a Halloween party and there's like those green lights that are very dramatic. Well, there was a door that led to a room that was emitting this green Halloween light. And, when I got in there was like this whole seance thing being set up. And I was creeped out by it. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of that kind of stuff. And so, I tried to get out, and then I woke up. So that was that dream. It was a very long time ago. I'm kind of going in order from oldest to newest. This will be a couple of episodes, believe it or not, because of how many dreams I can remember. And when we get to the end, if I don't talk about the main one I remember when I was like 10, so like 10 years ago, I'll make sure to bring it up if I haven't. All right, next one on the list. Revenant and the Search for Human Morals with the Underground Angels and Cultists. What is it with? Why was I dreaming about that stuff? I have no recollection of that one. We're just gonna move on. Let's see. One of my friends in the stairs. Don't remember that one. Jellyfish. Then the pimple bobas. Yeah, that one was disgusting. It was like my skin had these like blue, like there was this disease going around, and there was these blue spots, bulges, and in the middle, just pus would be coming out. It was gross. It was disgusting. I don't want to explain it any more than that, but it was gross. Let's see here. Lake swimming, don't remember that one. Uh, Trouble paying for something with a friend. Infinite bathroom wake up. Okay, yes. I don't know what it is, and it baffles me to this day. I had this dream where I woke up, right? Let me give you this. So I open this door in my dream, and there's a bathroom. There's a toilet at one end. Let me move my mic out of the way. There's a toilet at the end of the room, and then there's a shower bathtub combo on one side and a shower bathtub combo on the other side. So it's this weird setup for a bathroom because there's no sink. There's just two showers and a toilet. And I have to use the restroom. So I'm like, okay, let me go up to the toilet. But as soon as I reach the toilet, there was something in my head that was like, wait, I'm in a dream. And so I wake up. I open the door and it's the same bathroom again. But I walk up to the toilet again and I'm like, wait, this is a dream. And it happens multiple times. I don't know why it happened multiple times. But finally, after like 4 or 5 attempts, I finally actually woke up and I said, thank God I did not use the restroom. My dreams were trying to trick me 5 times to try and use the restroom. And I live to tell the tale that I did not wet myself. All right, let's see. Lifeline chase and someone with a girlfriend. Don't remember that one. Super flat with Princess Bubblegum. Okay, yes, I do remember this one. So I actually made a story about this once, but that was somewhere else on the internet. So the dream went like this. It's a super flat Minecraft world, but there's like so many mods in it that you can place like anything you want. So I erected this Coliseum made out of cookies because it was like the Candy Kingdom. If you're familiar with Adventure Time, the Candy Kingdom is made out of candy, and so I made it out of cookies. This giant Coliseum was only like a U shape. It was like a half pipe. Anyhow, Princess Bubblegum was there, but Finn and Jake from Adventure Time were dead. And in fact, their bodies were kind of carved into the Coliseum walls as a homage to them. Anyhow, Princess Bubblegum at some point, we're out on this overlook to the Coliseum, and she falls off. And in my dream, I go down and catch her and then use my creative Minecraft abilities with how many mods I have to pick her up and put her back where she was. And then I kind of woke up from that dream. So it wasn't that, crazy, I guess. It was a very simplistic story. I saved a princess. Moving on, let's see what else. So I do have it right in here. Madoka and Beyblades. Okay, this is probably the last one that I'm going to mention because this one's going to go on for a long time. When I was a kid, I watched Beyblade Metal Fusion. In fact, if you couldn't put two and two together, my name, Tsubasa, comes exactly from the character Tsubasa from Beyblade Metal Fusion. Eagle was my favorite Beyblade because it was purple, and Tsubasa was one of the coolest characters because he had a dark side to him. Anyway, so this dream revolves around the opening shot of this dream is a park. And in this park, there is this rectangular hole in the ground that goes down deep, probably roughly about 50 feet. And there's a bunch of different layers. The top layer is like ice, then there's ground, some dirt, sand. And kids would come to this rectangular jut out in Beyblade battle to see who would make it to the very end of this tournament, like to be the last one spinning, but also to make it all the way down the fastest. And there would be a hole at the very bottom that Beyblades would drive up. Now, that hole was dug by me, a guy that was homeless, sitting in a newspaper wrapped made chair, apparently covered in urine because I was homeless, Lamau. So in this dream, I'm homeless. And eventually, one of the characters from Beyblade, her name was Madoka. She was like the Beyblade mechanic slash statistics analyst, as far as I can remember. She comes along, and I notice her, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so cute. Wow, but I'm homeless. This sucks. And this is where our antagonist comes in while we're at the park talking, and he comes in and swoops Madoka up. And who else is it to be but Jenga himself? So Jenga's the antagonist, and he swoops up Madoka, takes her away like purposefully while we were just having a friendly conversation. Obviously, I have a crush on her, and I think she has a little bit of a crush on me. It might be a pity crush. I don't know. Anyhow, it cuts to night, and Madoka and Jenga are back at like their house, I suppose. Their house is a lighthouse, but it's a very short lighthouse on the side of a dock. And what happens is Madoka is upstairs in her room, and Jenga is... Let me rephrase quickly. We are in Jenga's house, not Jenga and Madoka's. So we're in Jenga's house. And Madoka is upstairs, like in his room, and she's getting ready to like go out. But then Jenga like locks the door and traps her up there. And he is found out to be very abusive to Madoka. Shocker, he's the antagonist of the story. That's crazy. He plays poker with his friends. The guy who has the Beyblade striker. I forgot his name. I think his name's Masamune. If I'm right on that, that's wild. But he's playing poker, and then his cigarette is done. He's like, all right, let's blow this joint. So they go out of Jenga's house while Madoka's still trapped up in the lighthouse, and she's not loving it. She's crying. Eventually, there comes a day where Madoka is in the park again, and I go up to her, and with my Beyblade, my Beyblade has this ability to create ice that floats in the air. So I guess it's kind of like White Album from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Lamau. But I rip my Beyblade. Sounds kind of weird. But I make the words "I love you" in the air with ice floating in the air. And she thinks it's cute. She thinks it's adorable. And she is so thankful that, someone would actually show some love towards her. And then, at this point, I believe Jenga then comes in and he's like, that's not happening, pal. To which I'm like, all right, fight me in a Beyblade battle. So we Beyblade battle, and I win. Simple as that. I don't remember the details of it. I just know that my Beyblade was better than his. I mean, mine can physically create ice that is in the air. You guys have all seen the White Album fight. Anyhow, beat Jenga, take Madoka, we go back to her place. I finally shower because, I'm homeless. I don't have anything to do. But we're in her house, and it's this nice little pink house with a main circular window going out the front to look at the neighborhood. And we are living happily ever after. Now, one caveat to this entire story. I did wake up during this and make up the end of it, I think. It was kind of blurry whether or not I was actually awake dreaming this or not. But I thought it would be nice to end on a story like that. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this dream log. And if you'd like to see more, please let me know. Like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Or if you got content that you want to see me talk about, feel free to ask in the comments below. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.